Hello everyone, once again I welcome you all at Nagesh Kurzge Orchid School TV channel. And students, as you know that we have started with the second lesson of the science, that is force, work and energy. And in your previous session we studied about what is meant by force, effects of the force, and afterwards we studied about the different types of forces. That 5 types of forces we studied, and afterwards we studied about the force and work. And we just started with the point, that is simple machines. So, what is meant by simple machine, or what is meant by machines? So, machines are the things which help us to do work, For example, a sewing machines help us to stitch clothes, and a washing machine help us to wash clothes more easily. Then computer, as we know that computer makes our work very easily. Bicycle, bike, any other vehicle, that are also an examples of machines. That means the things which help or which make our work easier, or which help us to do our work faster or superior, that all the things are called as the machines. Now here I will show you some common machines or some simple machines that we use in our daily life. This is the plier. This is very simple machine, but it makes our work very easier or very superior. That means it is very useful in various works. That means for doing any of the work we can use this type of machine. Then the second simple machine is the scissor. This is also very important instrument that we use in our daily work for cutting papers or cutting clothes, etc. That is also very important simple machine. Then this is the knife. This is also an very important simple machine which is useful in the kitchen or any other purposes, to cutting vegetables, to cutting fruits, etc. Then the nail cutter. This is also an very simple but useful instrument that is useful to cut our nails. Then this is the tweezer. And it is also a useful machine. Then here you see, this is the screw. This is also very useful to join the things, to join the wooden material or any other things. We will study about that one by one, but these machines are categorized into different forms that we will study about that. So, first of all we will study about the different types of machines. So, as we know that, and we studied about that also, and we started that point, that different types of machines. So, there are 2 main types of machines, that all the machines are categorized or grouped into 2 machines. Out of that, first one is the complex. The name itself suggests what is meant by complex, made from many parts or made from many things. That means the machines which are made of many parts are called complex machines. What is meant by complex machines? Machines which are made of many parts are called complex machines. For example, a sewing machine, a washing machine, computer, motorbike, any other vehicles, mobile, that are all some common examples of complex machines. Then what is meant by simple machine? Simple, the name itself suggests simple, means made from very few parts. That means simple machines or the machines which are made of very few parts are called as simple machines. What is meant by simple machines? Machines which are made of very few parts are called as simple machines. For example, scissor, knives and tweezer, that just I shown you that before some time, that all are common examples of simple machines. But what is the use of the machine? Machines help us to do our work by using force more efficiently. Machines help us to do work by using force more efficiently. That means, if we use machine for any of the purpose or any of the work, then we require less force, or we can require less energy, and also it saves our time, it do our work very faster and superior also. That is the importance of the machines. So, there are 6 in this topic we have to study about only the simple machines. So, there are 6 types of basic simple machines, and that are the lever, inclined plane. Inclined plane is not looking like a machine, but working like a simple machine. Then wedges, screw, pulley and wheel and axle. These are 6 basic simple machines, and keep in mind all the complex machines like sewing machine, washing machine, computer, that all complex machines are made up of these 6 simple machines. That means, any of the complex machines made up from that, or made up of using these 6 simple machines. So, to learn now we have to learn about it one by one in detail. So, first of all we will study or we will learn about the lever, and for that you can see that picture in your textbook also, but for this working of the lever, we will study working of the lever from the example or from the activity. Suppose you are asked to move a heavy boulder. Heavy boulder means a heavy or large rock. Like in this picture, you can see this is the heavy boulder or heavy rock, and suppose you are asked to move a heavy boulder or asked to move this heavy stone, and what happens? Can you move it very easily without using any instrument? In this first picture like this, can this boy move the stone easily? No. That means, it is very difficult to move the boulder or to move the stone without of any machine or without of any instrument. But suppose if you are given a strong rod, here in this picture, this is the strong rod, and a small stone. Here in this picture you can see this small stone, and this is the rod. That means, but if you are given a strong rod and a small stone, then using this strong rod and a small stone, you can move the boulder more easily by using rod as shown here. Here in this picture you can see, by using in this way you can move this boulder more efficiently or easily. So, for example, look the illustration or look that following point. Suppose if you are going to move the boulder, then from this picture you can see this boulder is the load. This boulder means this is the stone, or this stone is a load that has to be moved. We have to move this stone. Then what we have to do? First of all, we have to put the one end of the rod under the boulder, like here, one end. This is the rod. When you put one end of the rod under this boulder or under this stone, and afterwards if you keep a small stones to support the rod, like in this picture, if you keep the small stone under the rod to support the boulder, then or the here you can, in this point at which the rod touches the stone is fixed and does not move. That means, in this way you have to do arrangement that that stone will not move. In this arrangement you have to do, you have to put the small stone and use the rod in this way. Then this is called as the fulcrum. This small stone is working like the fulcrum. It is called the fulcrum, and the rod is free to turn about the fulcrum. whenever you are doing this activity, keep that in mind. This is the stone, put one end of the rod under the stone, keep the stone below the rod, and keep the rod moving, free to move around in any direction. And when you push down at the other end of the rod, here you push means you are doing effort or you are applying the force. Then if you push down at the other end of the rod, then what happens? The boulder will shift or boulder will move. This push or force applied to move the load is called as the efforts. That means you are putting the rod, one end of the rod under the stone and putting the fulcrum and applying the force at one end, then this will called as the effort. This is called as the effort. Keep in mind that this is the load, this is the fulcrum and this is the effort. These three things makes the simple lever. On the basis of that, the levers are working. So, this arrangement of rod, this arrangement like this arrangement of rod free to move around a fixed point. Fixed point, this is the fixed point, this will not move, only rod will move. So, this arrangement of rod free to move around a fixed point or that fulcrum is called a lever, This makes the lever. What makes the lever? Arrangement of rod with the help of fulcrum, and rod will move freely in any direction. Then this arrangement of the rod to move free around the fixed point is called as the lever. And levers, on the basis of that, sometimes the positions of the load, fulcrum and efforts are changed, and according to their position, according to the position of load, fulcrum and efforts, the levers are being categorized or grouped into three types. It is depending on the position of the effort, load and fulcrum, and that three types of levers are the first type, first class lever, second class lever and third class levers. So, in the first class lever, arrangement of lever or arrangement of load and fulcrum and efforts in this sequence of load, fulcrum and effort, and in the second class lever, arrangement of these three things in the sequence of fulcrum, load and efforts, and in third class lever, arrangement is in the way of fulcrum, effort and load. Now, first of all we will study about the first class lever in detail, in which the arrangement is in the way of load, fulcrum and efforts. You can see these pictures also in your textbook on page number 16. So, what is meant by first class lever? In this type of lever, the fulcrum is placed between the effort and the load. Here you can see fulcrum, this is the fulcrum, it is placed between load and efforts. Here is the effort, here is the load. From that you can see the seesaw. Seesaw in our school playground is the example for that. That means the seesaw is working like the first class lever. Here you can see in this picture, this is the fulcrum and this one end is working like the effort and this is working like the load. That means, the seesaw in our school playground is an example of first class lever. In the same way, scissors, claw hammers. What is meant by claw hammers? The hammers which is useful to remove the nails from the wooden material or from the walls. This is the claw hammer, and the pliers also the based on the principle of first class lever. That means, seesaw, opening a can. Sometime you see that you open the bottle with the help of spoon or with the help of any other material, then that simple spoon or that spoon is also working like the first class levers. That means, when you use a spoon to open the lid of a can, then you use it as a first class lever. So, what is meant by first class lever? The arrangement of load, fulcrum and effort in the way of load, fulcrum and efforts. That means, in this way, in this lever, fulcrum is placed between load and effort. This is the principle of first class lever, and example for that are seesaw, opening can, scissor, claw hammer and pliers. That scissor and pliers I had shown you before some time. That is the examples of simple machine lever. Now, the second type of lever is the second class lever, and in this type of lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the rod. Fulcrum is at the one end of the rod and the effort is applied at the other end, and the load lies between the fulcrum and efforts. Here the arrangement of fulcrum, load and efforts in the sequence of fulcrum, load and effort. That means, in the second class lever, load is placed between fulcrum and efforts, and example for these are wheelbarrows, bottle openers and nut crackers. Nut crackers is also like a pliers, but we put the nuts like betel nuts or any other nuts between two ends of that nut cracker and apply the force from both the ends, then that nut will broke down. That means, wheelbarrow, bottle openers and nut crackers are the examples of second class lever. Here in this picture you can see some examples of second class lever. In first picture you can see the principle of a second class lever. In this, load will be placed in between fulcrum and effort, fulcrum and effort. This is the bottle opener. Here also this part is working like the fulcrum, these two ends are working like the efforts and load. Then here you can see nut cracker. Here also that nut or betel nuts is working like the load, and we have to break that load. So, that load is placed between the fulcrum and efforts, and when we apply the force from both the end, then that load will be broken down. Then that wheelbarrow that we usually see in construction site is also working on the principle of second class lever. Here is the load, here is the force, and here are the efforts. When we apply the force, then load will be removed out. That means, here also efforts, load and the fulcrum is the sequence. That means, these are some examples of second class lever. Now, afterwards we have to study about the third class lever. So, in this type of lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the lever and the load is at the other end. See carefully, on the sequence of load, fulcrum and efforts, levers are being divided or levers are being categorized. This is the third class lever. In this type of lever, the fulcrum is at one end of the lever and the load is at the other end. So, the effort is applied between the fulcrum and the load. For example, fishing rods, tweezers and tongs. Tongs that we use in our kitchen, and tweezers also we use in the kitchen, that I shown you up before some time. Then the fishing rods, which is useful to catching the fish, are some of the examples of third class lever. Here in this picture you can see some examples of third class lever and principle of third class lever. So, what is the principle of third class lever? Principle is that efforts is placed between or lies between fulcrum and load. The lever in which effort lies between fulcrum and load, this make the principle of third class lever. Example for that, tweezers. Tweezers are useful for catching or pulling up some things like thorn or catching the chapati, etc. Then tongs is also useful. tongs is also a third class lever. Then this is the fishing rod, where this is the load, fish is the load, this is the effort, and this is the fulcrum. This rolling like structure is working like the force. Here also the fulcrum, this is the efforts, and this is the load. Here this is the effort, this is the fulcrum, and this is the load. So, arrangement of lever in the sequence of fulcrum, effort, and load makes the third class lever. So, these three are the examples of levers. So, afterwards we have to study about the second type of simple machine, that is an inclined plane. But keep in mind that an inclined plane is a slope, and that helps us to move a load between two levels with less efforts. What is meant by an inclined plane? An inclined plane is a slope that helps us to move a load between two levels with less efforts. But keep in mind that it does not look like a machine. It does not look like a machine, but it works like a machine. So, tell me, have you ever wondered how the ancient Egyptian lifted heavy stones to build the pyramids? Ancient means belonging to a long time ago. How they lift the heavy stones or heavy construction material at the top of the floor or to build the pyramid? How they will able to move that heavy stones? They use a ramp or an inclined plane. What they use? They use a ramp. Ramp is also in our house or in the buildings also to move the vehicle or for to move the heavy loads. So, the Egyptian peoples use the ramp or an inclined plane to move the heavy loads like stones or any other construction material at the time of building a pyramids. But keep in mind that it does not look like a machine, but it works like a machine. Inclined plane is not looking like a machine, but it works like a machine. And by using inclined plane, the less the slope of we require less energy to move the heavy object. By using this, we can move any heavy objects by using less force. So, when the less the slope of an inclined plane, the less the force required to push a load up. For that, we can say some example, or we can understand the working of plane, inclined plane from some example. For example, if a normal person, as we know that a normal person cannot load a heavy box into the rear of a truck easily. Suppose someone wants to carry the load into the truck, but normal person cannot load a heavy box. Why? Because it requires more energy. But if he uses by placing an inclined wooden plank means a long narrow piece of wood, from the rear to the truck to the ground, then person can do this more easily. In the same way, if you see that the farmers or the labor from the sugarcane field uses that plank to carry the stems of sugarcane into the trolley. That means, by placing an inclined wooden plank, it makes easier for the labor to carry the heavy loads into the truck or into the trolley of the tractor. Another example for that inclined plane, that is a wheelchair that we use, we generally see in the hospital. So, a wheelchair can be easily pushed up an inclined plane in a hospital. Why? Because the plane will help the labor from there or workers from the hospital to pull or push up the patient very easily. And the less the slope of an inclined plane, the less the force required to push a load up. Then another example for inclined plane, that is a winding mountain. Winding mountain means having a curving and twisted shape, with a many bends. So, a winding mountain road is also an inclined plane. Suppose if a steep road were built directly up the side of mountain, then what happens? The vehicles like buses and cars would not be able to go up. Why? Because more force will be required to that vehicle to move up. So, this is why this is the this winding roads with a gradual slope are built on mountains. To avoid that, the winding roads with a gradual slopes are built on mountains, which helps the vehicles like bus and cars to move easily. And in the same way, that vehicles requires less efforts, that means less effort is needed to go up to the mountain on these roads. But one important thing that we have to keep in mind, that the distance to be covered becomes greater through the winding road, but this helps vehicles to move up very easily. So, this is the working of inclined plane, or in this way inclined plane works or helps us like the machine. Now, afterwards we have to see about the next simple machine, that is the wedge. And wedge is made of two inclined plane. Here you can, in this picture you can see here these two inclined planes. Here in this picture also you can see two inclined planes are coming together to make a wedge. That means, a wedge is made of two inclined planes and joined together to form a sharp edge. Here in this picture you can see this sharp edge becomes due to two inclined planes coming together. And example for that are a knife that I shown you before some time, an axe that is used by the farmers to cutting the trees. Here also you can see this simple instrument is working like the wedge, which is also useful to cut the trees or break the things. Then this chisel is also an example of wedge. So, this is the wedge, and wedge means when two inclined planes join together and which machine is formed, that machine is called as the wedge. Afterwards, we have to see about the next simple machine, that is the screw. See, the screw looks like a nail with grooves cut in it. A screw looks like a nail with grooves cut in it, and it has a winding edge called a thread. This winding edge is actually a inclined plane. That winding edge is actually an inclined plane, and the head of the screw has a groove for the tip of a screwdriver. By putting that tip or by using this screwdriver, we can easily insert the screw in the wooden material, and the screw is held against a piece of wood, and its head is turned with the help of the screwdriver. That means, the tip of the screw moves into the wood. Here you can see in this picture, this is the example or this is the picture of the screw. This is the tip of that screw and this is the thread. Due to that thread, it is very we can easily insert the screw inside the any wooden material or in the wall also. So, the head of the screw has a groove for the tip of the screwdriver, and the screw is held against the piece of wood, and it is turned with the help of the screwdriver. And also less force is needed to insert a screw into wood than a nail. Why? Because the inclined edge present on the screw helps to insert the screw in the wooden material, and to insert a nail it has to be hammered. Whenever we insert a nail, we have to hammer it with the help of hammer, and also we require more force. And but because of grooves, the screws hold the wood more firmly than the nail, and the screw jack used to lift cars for repairs works on the same principle. So, with this point of the lesson, we conclude our today's session here, and it is very important to take a quick recap of this session. So, first of all, in this session, first of all we studied about the meaning of simple machine, two different types of machines, that are complex machine and simple machines. Then we studied detail about the lever and 3 types of levers, and then we studied also about the inclined plane, wedge and screw, and remaining simple machines and remaining part of the lesson we will see in our next session. Till that, you have to read the topic properly and find out the hard words and important point from the lesson. Thank you.